Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is the Melanin sRNA. I'm coming back to you with another video. In today's video, it's going to be addressed towards new grads that are interested in working in the ICU straight out of nursing school. And I'm also going to be offering some tips as to how you can succeed in the ICU. If you are interested in this video, please keep on watching. So I started in the ICU straight from nursing school. So a little bit about my background is I worked as a tech all through nursing school. I worked full-time. I worked on a med-surg floor, and it was a great experience. Loved it. Loved the nurses that I worked with. They were badass for sure and taught me a lot as a nursing student. But I knew from my experience there that I did not want to be a med-surg nurse. And I am no way downplaying any med-surg nurse or med-surg in general. I think it's a central part of nursing. I have big respects for med-surg nurses. I just knew it wasn't something that I wanted to do. I knew for sure that I wanted to do ICU, and that was my goal. When I started applying for jobs, a lot of the bigger hospitals in my area did residency programs, and if you don't know what a residency program is or not familiar with it, basically a residency program is kind of like a mini extension from nursing school. More geared towards the things that you will be doing as a nurse, practicing as a nurse. You can either do a critical care residency program or acute care residency program, which is basically just med-surg. That includes a lot of the specialties of med-surg. Typically with med-surg, you have orientation for 3 months, and then with ICU it's 6 months. You just have classes. I think you meet once or twice a week. You might have case studies and homework in regards to the different diagnoses that you see as working, any issues that may come up, kind of how to work in together as a cohesive unit with the doctors and techs. And that's my understanding. Like I said, I never did it. I didn't have a chance to do a residency program, so if I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments. That's the general idea of what a residency program is. A lot of the hospitals would not consider you for a critical care residency unless you had your practicum in the ICU or you have some type of tech experience in the ICU. I only picked up in the ICU, so I didn't really qualify for neither. And a lot of my practicum for my school, we didn't have any shadow experience or working in the ICU. That just wasn't something that was offered to us. I think a lot of nursing schools now are incorporating that into their curriculum, which is great, but this just wasn't something that we were doing. So every residency program I would apply to would say no, you can't do critical care. They wanted me to do med-surg, and I was just not having it. After I graduated nursing school and I had my license 2 weeks after, I didn't have a job. I still worked as a tech, but I didn't have a nursing job. Meanwhile, more than half of my class had already had job offers, had already started working as a nurse, but I didn't. And I was like, okay, that's fine. I still, like I said, I was still making money, but I just wasn't working as a nurse, which was a little frustrating, but I was like, it's okay. And I kept applying. I stopped applying to a lot of the bigger hospitals, and I really focused on a lot of smaller hospitals. A lot of the ones that are 200 or 300 bed hospitals that weren't like I said, the bigger hospitals, or what the hospitals I applied to that weren't offering residency programs. And honestly, that's how I got into the ICU. Is I got a call one day 3 months later offering me a job. It was a 6-bed ICU. It was small. They had your typical general ICU, and I was like, okay, fine. I'll take it. It's ICU. It's what I wanted. Honestly, it was the best ICU experience, and I felt like it was the best foundation I had to make me the nurse that I am today. I work night shift, and typically, if you get lucky, which is rare, you will probably always work night shift. So I worked night shift, and on nights it was probably 4 or 5 of us, and I say us as in young nurses that had started out, but the rest of the nurses, more experienced nurses that have been there for a while, and they taught me so much more than I ever learned in nursing school. They really just had a great foundation of critical care, of time management, of my diagnosis there, because not only did I have the not only did I see a lot of different things, I also had some downtime to like look up stuff and look up notes. I really feel like that is what gave me the foundation of my nursing right now. I'm extremely serious about it. Don't focus on, oh, I want to work at this particular hospital or that particular hospital, the big name hospitals. Work at a smaller hospital. You have ICU experience, and you can always, once you have that experience, you can always transfer or like get a job at that ICU, that bigger ICU. Your experience, get your foundation for that year, and then find another job somewhere else at a bigger hospital. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's another thing, like, don't take no for an answer. And then when you're in your interview, prove to them, without having experience, prove to them why you feel like you'll be a great fit. Bring up the quality that you need that will make you qualified to be an ICU nurse. Convince them how great of an asset you would be to their team and how you're willing to learn. Two, if you are in nursing school, try to get a job as a tech. I know in Georgia you can be a tech or you could be a student nurse extern. But basically a student nurse extern is you have to have at least one semester of nursing school finished, and they'll allow you to work as a student nurse. And so basically you can float around to different floors, ICU, med-surg, cardiac, CCU, all of that, and kind of see and kind of figure out where you want to be when you graduate. And I think that's a great program to have. So look into hospitals that do have those programs so you're able to kind of figure out what aspect of nursing you want to be. I know for the residency program at that particular hospital, they pull student nurse externs from that program to be in the ICU. And I wish I had the opportunity, and I just didn't know about the program at the time. So that's something that you can definitely look into that would really help you. Network, go to nursing events, go to the job fairs that a lot of hospitals offer, and just kind of get your name out there and say, I want to work in the ICU. Have your resume ready, have recommendation letters ready. Going to those networking events will help you, because you never know. There might be a manager that will hire you right there on the spot and you have already landed your job. Network is so important. When you do get in ICU, I do have to tell you, ICU is tough. As a new grad, it is tough. And I think people it's definitely a different type of nursing outside of nursing school. Nursing school gives you the basics, but ICU is just ICU. It's a different mindset. You have to be able to think on your feet. A lot of the stuff that I'm gonna say comes with time, but you kind of have to build up and not beat yourself up about it. But a lot of things you have to be quick at. Critical thinking, because things could change like that, and you need to be able to think quickly on your feet. You need to be able to be confident in what you're saying to the doctors. You need to be able to be confident to what you're saying to your colleagues, to the family members that actually question. One word of advice that I've always given nursing students, new grads that either come and train with me, study. Please study. You have to study outside of work. It may seem like, well, why do I have to study? I just finished nursing school. Yeah, but ICU is like totally different. You need to be able to know your meds. You need to be able to know what Leo does and how it acts on this, what Epi does and how it acts on this. You need to know your dosages, your min and your max, how it affects your heart rate, your blood pressure, your respiratory status. That is what I'm talking about. You need to be able to understand the diagnoses, your comorbidities that many of your patients will be having, and why you may give this med versus to this med. And 12 hours or 8 hours or how long your shift isn't enough time to be able to explain a lot of the things, because you're juggling 2 patients, or you may have a 1 patient assignment, but they are extremely busy, and it's just a lot to be able to stop and explain to somebody. I can give you a generic explanation, but I need you to go back and read why this happened and then come back to me the next day and explain it to me, so that I know that you understand, so that when you see it again, you're like, oh, okay, this makes a lot of sense. I definitely recommend that wholeheartedly, because I really do feel like that will help you. Humility. Please, please, please be humble when you work in ICU. And I say this because I have also met a lot of nursing students or new grads that are very arrogant. You're gonna have to cut all that out. because you're gonna have like an old school nurse who's gonna read you, or you can kill a patient that way because you think that you know everything and you don't want to take advice from anybody. I mean, you can hurt your patient that way. Definitely ask questions, lots of questions, because in a few months you'll be on your own. And I'm not saying that no one will answer your question, they will. But what I'm saying is, this is a time to ask a lot of questions when you are on orientation. Don't beat yourself up. We make mistakes and we may feel like we're not learning anything, or we may feel like we're not quick on our feet about certain things, but don't beat yourself up about it. You are in a new learning environment. Embrace it. Embrace some of the failures that you're going to have. That's normal. It's a part of life. It's a part of succeeding. But pick yourself up and just be ready to do it again. You will have good days, you will have bad, but don't let those hiccups that you may have keep you away from doing something that you want to do. ICU is a lot of fun, and that adrenaline rush is something like no other. But you will get it, and it just takes time. When I started, I didn't know half of those meds. Now it just comes like natural for me. It takes a lot of trial and error to be able to figure out what's worked and what hasn't worked. So you will get it. 6 months, a year from now, when you're like looking back at yourself, you'll be like, damn, I came really far. And you do. You see the progress and you forget how far you've come. But I want you to remember, you got this. And don't let anybody ever tell you otherwise. You will be the best damn ICU nurse. Those are generally my tips as to how you can succeed in the ICU. If you have any questions or want any advice, please DM me on Instagram, email me. I'm always willing to help. But yes, thank you so much for watching.